Okay, so now that we have the project set up, we can create a user by clicking on the register button, and we will go over the autocomplete component of the primevue library, and we will go through all of these examples mentioned on this page. It's a great component that you can use out of the box in your forms. So let's start by creating a user first. Okay, so we have created a user, and that took us to the dashboard page, which is the main page that you get after logging in. So we are logged in as our account, and we're going to test the autocomplete component here. So let's launch VS Code and get started with the component. This is the app.js file. We don't need this at the moment. You can see we have added primevue to the project, and we can use it anywhere we want. So we will go to the pages folder and dashboard, and this is what we are going to replace. So I'll just take this out, and let's import the component first so that we can use it here. Okay, so let's add the component to the page. And now that the component has been added, we can use it anywhere in the page. So I'll just save this here. Let's just remove the space, it annoys me. And let's add the component here within the divs. And the first thing, when you look at the component, you see that it uses a v model to value. So that should tell you a couple of things. So we need two variables for this component to work. We need an items variable, and we need a value variable too. We also need a function called search, which will run whenever we type anything in the text box. So let's create two references called value and items. And we need to, of course, import ref from view as well. We also need to add this function called search. So let's add that here as well, and save this file. Now let's view this in the browser. This is how the component looks in the browser. It's a text box. And whenever you type anything in here, what the search function is doing behind the scene is adding a dash and a 0 right next to it. It's basically creating 10 values like that that you can choose from. There are many other ways to using this component. You can also use it to filter through, let's say, an array of objects that you're fetching through a database. So we will look at that example next. But let me show you the function one more time, just so you understand what's going on. Looking at the function here, so this is the search function that we are calling on complete. So what's happening here is it's taking in an event parameter. So event.query is basically anything that you type in that box. And what we're doing here is we're setting up the items array. So we are creating an array with 10 values inside, and then we're mapping in uh, whatever we type in the text field plus a dash, and then plus the item number that we are on. So I mean, if it's going to be 10 values, then zero array always, of course, starts with a 0. So it'll be whatever you type in dash 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 9. So that's going to be 10 values exactly. So that's what's happening with this function. So we are setting the items array reference basically, and it gets updated as soon as we type anything there. So the search function is being called with each key, and that's how everything is happening. Now let's look at a next example. Okay, so for the next example, I've done a couple of things. I've made a few changes. So I've created a post model. I've also created a post table in the database, and I've created a factory. So did some seeding, so we have some posts we can work with, and I'm accepting the post as a prop. And if I go to the routes file, so let me open up the routes file here. So I'm getting basically all of the posts, and I'm passing it to the dashboard page, and then I'm accepting it here as a prop. So we have a posts array that we can work with available to the page, and now we're going to basically filter through the posts and find the post that we're looking for using the autocomplete component. So let's set up the component so we can do that search. Okay, so I've changed the autocomplete component. The vModel points to selected post now. We also have options label, and it's pointing to title. So the post object has a title and a body, and so the title is what we're going to search through. Filtered posts are going to be the suggestions that we get, and the search is the function that's going to run on whenever we type anything in the box. So let's look at the search function here. So we're setting the timeout to 2 milliseconds, and if we type anything in the search box, what's going to happen is we will set filtered posts to the props post value. So we're filtering through the posts prop that we have right here. So we will filter through that, and we will show uh, whichever option starts with whatever we're typing in the search box. So basically, I mean, whatever we type in, it will get searched in the posts array, and if anything matches, it will get assigned to the filtered post array, and then that's what's going to pop up, and we will see that. So now let's take a look at component in action, and you'll see what I mean. I wanted to first of all show you the post table on the database, and you can see we have ID, user ID, title. So this is what we're going to search through, and body as well, and of course created at and updated at columns too, but this is the important column I wanted to show you. Now let's have a look at the component in action. So what I'm going to do is, as we know, I mean, this is just fake text generated by the fake library. So we know we have some titles starting with H, some with a P, a Q as well. So let's do a search with that. And so if I type in H, and you're going to see the titles pop up here as options, and we can choose them. And if I open up the dev tools here, the selected post will become, I'm going to show you right here. It's, yeah, so selected post becomes that object. So we have the body, the ID, everything that we have. So it becomes equal to that post. And it's, of course, a great way to work with forms. It's an amazing component. And I hope you enjoyed this video. So like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.